Um, a few more notes about the owners, the process owners and the service owners. They identify areas of improvements and recommend appropriate changes. So, your product manager, for instance, even though he's not actually doing the work, he is responsible for identifying opportunities for improvement to say, hey, I see that you guys are doing this. And I thought that it may be beneficial if we do things a little bit different. Or have you ever thought about, you know, um, implementing an additional test or something to help um, make the process stronger? Oftentimes, when we talk about opportunities for improvement, we think about the specific person has to do. Oh, QA person has to do that. I'm not responsible for that. Oh, this person over here has to do that. No, owners are also responsible for identifying opportunities for improvement and recommending change as they see fit. So that is one attribute of an owner. And they should actually do that because they're ultimately accountable. And lastly, they guide process and service improvement initiatives. So these are the people that go back to the organization. Your product manager can go back to the organization and say, hey, that product launch we had, yes, we did not have enough time. So maybe in the future, we should think about doing this. Or can the organization allocate a few dollars for this new feature to help us better track testing results or get a customer real-time customer feedback or something like that. So those are some of the attributes of the service and process owners. Any questions about that? Alrighty, so we talked about RACI. Okay, best practices. So earlier today, we mentioned that ITIL is a best practice. Just some information on what best practices are. They are widely used in industries by companies getting good results. So most of the time, there's some type of study done or focus group that comes together and address a particular problem, and they document it, and then they document what they were done, the results, etc. So that's how best practices are coined, quote unquote, best practices. It's based on results that they've received by performing various activities to address various problems. Obviously, some reasons to adopt good practices. Um, because you have dynamic environments. And so sometimes there are a lot of challenges in your environments. You may have teams on various time zones. You may have teams that are organized and managed differently. And so in order to maximize performance, one solution is to adopt a best practice so that everyone is on the same page. And then once again, performance pressure. If you have a demanding client or an organization who is driven by results, implementing a best practice is great because you get to leverage something that has been trialed in some forms and has been tested. Over and over and over again. And so it provides you with a sure way to be a little bit more successful than what you've been in the past. Some benefits of best practices is that they help organizations benchmark themselves against peers in the same and global markets to close gaps in capabilities. I see this a lot here in the Washington, D.C. area. There are literally thousands of small businesses that provide the same type of service offerings. And so a lot of their selling points is centered around use of best practices. So, oh, we use CMMI. Oh, we have Lean IT. We have Scrum masters on our team. And so they use this as a differentiator to win more business. And some sources of best practices, public frameworks, standards, proprietary knowledge of individuals and organizations, people have community practices, etc. So there are a myriad of places where one can find information on best practices. ITIL is just known as a global best practice that has been widely adopted. Okay, enough about that. Okay, so when we talk about ITIL as a whole and the life cycle, we talked about strategy being the core or our nucleus, design, transition, operation as the services, the processes that enable or execute what strategy sets, and then continual service improvement, which is applied throughout the entire life cycle. This is a snapshot of the supporting processes for each ITIL process. So for instance, service strategy process has 5 sub-processes: strategy management, service portfolio management, financial management, demand management, and business relationship management, also known as BRM. Design has 8: design coordination, service catalog management, service level management, availability, capacity management, IT service continuity management, information security management, and supplier management. So, based on what we've learned so far today, what are these things addressing here in service design process?
Mute again. Asking me
Yes.
question answer.
Yes.
Okay. So service design process. For service design process only, or strategy and transition as well?
Just design.
Okay.
Something that we talked about earlier today. If you look at the service design process, sub-process.
So we want to make sure we're answering the question of why are each of these things that we're putting in place, what do we hope to get from them? We want to make sure that this design is creating value for our customer, that it aligns
so
with...
Right there.
Oh, that was it. What
you said was value, right?
Yeah.
And how do we get to value?
Utility plus warranty.
Utility plus warranty. And here, if you notice under the service design process areas, we have availability, we have capacity, we have continuity, we have information security. So all of those things that we need in order to create warranty are built into our service design. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. A service transition covers transition planning and support, change management, service asset and configuration management, release and deployment management, service validation and testing, change evaluation and knowledge management. Who thought so much could go into a service transition? Then we have service operations, which is comprised of event management, incident, request, problem, and access management. Then we have our service desk functions over here. We talked about a function. The definition of a function, it's a set of group of people who address a specialized skill. And so they have a specialized intended outcome, and they work all together to get to that outcome. So for instance, a service desk function would be focused on delivering some type of service to end users. Technical management function, same deal. Operations management function, application management. And then the continuous service improvement processes. And there are a few different, they're not really processes, but they are best practices that an organization could adopt in order to provide continuous service improvement. So those are the things we are going to talk about next. First up is service strategy.